In this video, I'm going to show you how to 10x your land investing business by working less. What's up, guys? My name is Sumner Healey. I run a business called landinvestor.co. We help folks start, grow, and scale land investing businesses. If you guys want to get involved inside of our free Discord, you guys can do so down below. We've got nearly 500 full-time 6- and 7-figure land investors inside there. Now, I know this sounds like hyperbole. It sounds insane to say make more by working less, but I'm going to spell out exactly how I've done that, how folks inside of our community have done that, and how you can do that. But before I share that with you, I need to give you the typical lay of the land for how most land investors try to scale their business. After coaching over 100 land investors in the last 8 months, what I've seen is that most people come to us with preconceived notions on what it looks like to scale a land investing business. Because frankly, most people are operating off of an outdated playbook. The way that they view this business for growth is to grow, I must do more. And do more typically takes the form of doing more deals. The problem with that is if you've yet to get to the point where you're doing 100, 200, 300 deals a year, you will quickly hit a glass ceiling. In fact, it's almost impossible to imagine running a land business where you're doing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 deals a year, especially if you're actually going to close on those deals, right? If you're doing assignments or double closes, maybe that's possible. I still think it's hard to imagine anyone pulling that off. Now, 2 years ago, I said, I want to grow my land business. And the only way that I knew how to do that was by doing more volume. What I ended up with was subpar results, burnt out, hated the business, lost my passion for it because it's so gosh darn difficult. If we look at the typical land deal, every deal has 30 or 40 steps that need to get completed to get that deal done. When you start to zoom that out and you look at doing 1,000 deals and having 30 or 40,000 different touch points with different third parties, title companies, photographers, it just gets frankly insane. The manpower or support that's required to run a business like that is a nightmare, right? We have a team of 12 people and I can't imagine having 10x that if I wanted to 10x my deals, right? Having a team of 120 people, it sounds like a nightmare, frankly. So that's the old way. Let me share with you the new way to scale your land investing business by doing no more work. So there's two things that we have to look at. The first is getting your deals sold. If you've done a land flip before, you know that's actually where a lot of the work goes down, right? Getting them on all these different platforms, talking to a bunch of different buyers, a bunch of people that are kicking the tires and are wasting your time. There's a ton of work that goes into that. The second thing is if we look at the total gross volume in our business, right? If I do $5 million in land sales, well, I might take home 30 or 40% of that. That's the total volume that we did. We might take 30 or 40% of that. That's a key metric that you have to hit, right? You got to be doing enough dollar revenue or volume top line to the actual sales price of those properties to even expose yourself to being able to make a couple $1 million a year, right? Really hard to see a land business where you make $1 million from selling $1 million worth of land. It just doesn't work. You're going to maybe see 30% of that total top line figure come back to you. And again, the old way of doing that is to say, okay, let's go do more deals to get that total gross volume up, but that's not right. So let's tackle the first one. When we look at the dispositions, the selling of properties, the way that you can circumvent that and remove that additional work is by going through a meticulous market selection process. You see, what a lot of people don't realize is your disposition process starts by the markets that you decide to work in. What we know is land is an incredibly illiquid asset. In fact, if you look at most counties here in the US, you're going to have a really hard time to sell property because there's just not that many people looking for land in that market. When I started my business, I would buy land in any old county and I tried to shove it down people's throats, right? Let's go generate 1,000 leads on Facebook. Let's try to get one of them to buy it. We'll hard close them. We'll do anything to get the deal done. That's really freaking difficult. Now, if we flip the paradigm and we say, hey, let's go and spend more time on market selection. Let's find markets that have incredible levels of demand. Have markets where people are screaming and raising their hands, we want land, and there's not enough supply there to support how much demand there is. The beautiful thing is this doesn't cost more. This doesn't change any more of processes. All we really need to do is look at the markets that we decide to participate in with a fine-tooth comb. Now, the way that we do this is by looking at sell-through rates and we look at total levels of supply. If you guys want to learn more about that, we have tons of videos on our market selection process here on the channel. So we're not doing anything different. We're not spending anything more. We are just being more ruthless with how we select our markets, right? If we look at 100 markets, we might find one that fits our appetite, that fits our buy box, that fits what we're going for. Where most land investors, they go on LandWatch or fill in the blank website, see where other land investors are working, and then make their market selection choices from there. Then they buy a deal and they have a hellish time trying to sell it. You don't want to run that business. You see, when I was trying to follow that model, we had to build a big sales team on the disposition side just to try to support talking to enough leads, because we knew we might have to generate 100, 200, 300 leads to get a deal sold. And we needed a ton of internal infrastructure to support that. On top of that, we were paying through the nose on platforms like land.com, landflip, spending thousands of dollars a month just to try to be at the top of those search results to try to game the system, right? We were trying to find an illiquid market, try to get as much exposure there and talk to as many people to try to force a square peg in a round hole. So that's point one, right? Focusing on your market selection process, honing in to lessen the workload on the disposition side. Now, the second point, if we're talking about how do we get enough gross volume in our business, right? If you want to make $10 million in your land business, you might have to sell $30 million worth of land. So there's one way to do that. You can say, okay, let's go buy 3,000 properties, sell them at $10,000 a piece. You're going to get to that $30 million mark. But what we've learned is it's infinitely easier to go buy 3 $10 million deals. All right, quick interruption. If you are looking to grow a 6 or 7 figure land investing business, you're most likely going to want to check out our land investing scholarship. This gives you access to the Leah Group coaching program at discounts never before seen, allows you to work with myself and directly with our team of Leah coaches. If you think you're a good fit for it, I recommend applying. The link is down in the description below. If you are selected, we'll move forward with a call and get everything going. Anyways, back to the video. Now, frankly, we're not doing $10 million deals in our business. I think the market starts to become really efficient at that price point, and there's just not that many buyers for it. You start to have to add to make the numbers pencil for the deal. That's kind of a weird example. But if we look at our business today, right? If we look at 2023, we're going to exceed our previous revenue numbers from last year by doing probably about half the number of deals. The way that we've done that is by going up market, right? The easiest way to grow a land business is by going after bigger deals. Frankly, that's it. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said that there isn't different strategies, different frameworks, different processes, different team members needed to support going after bigger deals, because it's a different game, right? You're dealing with a different seller. You're dealing with different buyers. The sales cycles are longer. You're gonna need more marketing to get the same number of leads that you might get for going after smaller properties. But that process does not add a whole heck of a lot more work to your plate. And in fact, when we talked about the 30 or 40 different steps for getting a land deal done, those same 30 to 40 steps play out for a $1,000 deal or for $1 million deal. Currently, we're doing a deal that we're closing on and we're buying for $305,000. Selling it for $700,000, $750,000. This is probably the easiest deal we've done all year. Frankly, it's been from start to finish, very, very easy. When I go buy a $1,000 deal and try to notary close and arrange the closing with the seller and do all this mumbo jumbo, there is so much more work there. And so we found the workload is actually a lot less when it comes to these bigger deals. That's the easiest way to bump that total volume in your business. Volume as a dollar amount, right? And so to go and do bigger deals, that's also going to tie into your market selection process, right? If you want to have exposure to going and doing $1 million deals, if you're working in Costilla County, that's just not a reality, right? The market has to have one demand for those kind of deals, but those deals also have to be available, right? So this all ties back into your market selection process. And that's why inside of our Leah Group coaching program, we spend an absurd amount of time honing in on that, because that is the top of the funnel. That is the top of our process that determines everything downstream. It determines how quickly we're going to sell our deals. It determines the kind of gross volume we can have on our deals, right? We can have deals that net us hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. That comes from working in the right markets. And then on top of that, you do need to change your expectations, right? A lot of people in this business are playing the game of just taking low-hanging fruit. Send out 1,000 letters. Someone immediately says, hey, I want to sell right now. They do that deal. That doesn't really apply to these bigger deals, right? Because the owner avatar, the actual seller of that deal, is very different. They're typically going to be higher on the socioeconomic totem pole. They're not going to have a lot of urgency to sell. And so really what we've seen change here is that the sales cycles are longer, right? But frankly, if I needed to go do 1,000 deals, I'm going to need to build a team anyways. If I'm going to go do 10 big deals, I'm going to need to build a team anyways. The building a team is something you're going to have to do regardless, but by going after these bigger deals, you can have a smaller team. That means for every employee you have, you can have a higher total amount of revenue that they bring in, right? The businesses that I find the most sexy are the businesses where it's 10 employees and each employee gets paid $100,000 a year, but they bring in $2 or $3 million of value, right? You're not going to see that by going after the smaller deals. Everyone might be paid 50 grand a year and bring in 150 grand a year, right? But you might have to have 50 employees, 60 employees, that's a very different game. The less people that we have in our business, the less deals that we do in our business, the less complexity there is, the less friction there is in our business, right? Every single person or deal that adds a moving part to our business that adds complexity. And so frankly, I've made this transition over the last year and a half, and we've seen our workload decrease by doing this, and yet our business has continued to grow. And this is why we have folks that join our Leah Group coaching program that come in and 3 months, 4 months in, they're doing multiple six-figure deals. We had a gentleman named Anthony Reese inside of our program. His first 2 deals brought in 150K of gross profit. 2 deals, right? Back in the day, that would take me 20 or 30 deals to do that. And so coming in and operating off of the right playbook, you can jump into the deep end, start doing big deals immediately. The beautiful thing about big deals as well is that there's money to fund these deals. Every single person inside of our program gets deal funding, and so they can go after these big deals and not be limited by their budget. As a side effect, if you try to scale a big land business and you're doing small deals and you're self-funding them, the cash flow cycles are horrendous. It's damn near impossible to scale that model. So the moral of the story is, if you guys can improve on your market selection process and commit to doing bigger deals, this is the fastest way to 10x your business by not adding any more work to your plate. In fact, you are removing work, you are eliminating complexity, and you're gonna make everything flow very nicely downstream, right? But it all starts with your market selection. If you guys like this video, you wanna hang out with me and 500 other land investors, you can click the link down below to join our free Discord. We've got nearly 500 folks that are in there talking shop every day. It is an amazing community, and I'd love to see you inside there.